All right, welcome into another edition of the Tennessee Draft Show. What it seems like of late, we've got Drew Gilbert in here, outfielder for the University of Tennessee, the pride of Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Not a lot of guys coming out of Lake Elmo, Minnesota. Welcome to the show, man.
No, I appreciate you guys having me. Lake Elmo, Stillwater, kind of the same thing, but I'll roll with Lake Elmo.
Okay, all right. Well, I got two questions to start things off. This one you may not see coming. Where did Chili Gilbert come from?
I honestly get that question a lot, and I don't really know what to say besides I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago I had a Xbox, and you have like a gamer tag with like your username, and I named myself Gilly Gilbert just off the top of my head. I don't really know where I came up with that. And then like last winter, it's cold up in Minnesota, like you're chilly, and I was like, I'll just call myself Gilly Gilbert, that's the best way to put it.
You got to think of a new story, man.
Oh, no, it's a pretty bad story, but I definitely need to think of something better.
All good, Drew. Hey, man, we like to kick the show off. Why don't you start things off with tell people who you are on the field and a little bit about some of your hobbies off the field.
Okay, so I don't know how I describe myself necessarily, like on the field. I guess other people would probably call me crazy. Pretty high energy, player. I like to win. I really only care about winning. I don't really care about anything else. I feel like your focus is winning. Everything else kind of falls in line. But it's weird because like off the field, I feel like I'm, not that person in like a good way. Like I can't be, Mr. Crazy guy all the time. I feel like off the field I'm a pretty like laid back dude. And to be honest with you, my favorite thing to do when I'm, out and about is just hang out with my friends. I don't really have any like specific hobbies or like specific things I like to do. And I'll hop on video games here and there, but if I'm around my friends, I'm usually good.
I expected to hear ice fishing or something like that up in your
No, I don't. I mean, I bear the cold, but I do not like it. So,
got it.
Yeah,
acceptable. Well, sure. Jumping on that fiery spirit, man, I got to jump in and ask the first question I've been wanting to ask since we talked about this interview, and let's talk about the Grand Slam last year. It's probably the biggest home run you might have hit in your entire baseball career. The moment was huge, and just talk to me a little bit what you really remember from that moment, because I'm sure you probably blacked out pretty soon after that hit.
Yeah, I remember I don't really remember much after I hit it.
High fly, deep right, and Tennessee walks it off. Pandemonium in Knoxville.
If you get too jacked up, that's usually where they go, south, because everyone in the stadiums, their adrenaline's pumping, and you got to try to be the one that's, the calmest dude in the stadium. So, I was just trying to prepare myself, and I think he started me. Actually, I know he started me with a 0-0 slider. I was sitting fastball, just swung through it. I actually figured he was going to come back to it, so I was sitting slider and ended up throwing a curveball, and I don't remember anything after that.
Do you remember anything from the 2021 season? I mean, that seems like the type of moment that can just blow your brain into smithereens.
Gladly I do, or thankfully I do, but that moment specifically, I remember nothing.
Well, talk about 2021. It was a big year for you, man. Big year for Tennessee. How do you think, in terms of your own personal goals, your team goals, how did it go for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was, obviously a fun season. I mean, that's kind of the reason I came to Tennessee is, I wanted to be a part of like something historic like that. I mean, we hadn't gone to Omaha since 2005, and how cool would it be to bring a program that hasn't gone to Omaha in 16 years and help be a part of something like that. So, I mean, it was awesome. It was a bunch of guys that were in on the same goal, and we knew in the fall that what we wanted to do, and it's not even something we really need to like talk about. We just knew what we needed to do, and we knew how much work we needed to do to get there. And it was a fun year. Personally, my freshman year, I really didn't get to experience like SEC player and that, and that's kind of where like the real you get like what it's really like. And so it was interesting. You have like struggles, and you learn like you got to make adjustments, and you got to adjust to the league, and you got to learn to adjust to how they're going to pitch you, and not go up there trying to hit what I want to hit, but you go up there trying to hit what they're going to get me out with. So it was fun, but I mean, definitely a lot to learn from, and I'm excited for this year.
Well, talking a little bit about your approach that you just mentioned there, it's really aggressive at the plate, but you have the ability to really control your barrel through the zone and show your power really pretty much all fields. So just talk to me about a little bit what your approach is at the plate and what you're looking forward to do damage when you're up there.
Yeah, I think, kind of early on in the season, it was a lot of just like, hunt the fastball, but kind of as I progressed, I stopped getting as many fastballs. And so it kind of changed from like, all right, I can hit a heater pretty well, but I need to be able to, hit a changeup or, a breaking ball. So it's kind of like, for me, my approach, it kind of varies from like, at bat to at bat, or who's pitching, what's the score, all that stuff, what happened in previous at bats. But I think a big thing for me kind of this off season is just staying through the middle, because I get myself in trouble a lot when I get a little pull happy. And, if I'm pull happy all the time, I don't really give myself much room for error, so that's been a big thing for me. And, I feel like I can control the bat pretty well. I don't strike out a ton, but I also get myself in trouble just by getting out, chasing pitches out of the zone, even if I'm not striking out, but just, maybe a weak contact or something like that. So kind of plate discipline has been a big thing for me this offseason.
Absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about Tennessee. You've surrounded yourself over the last couple of years with some really, prodigious college outfielders, and Solari and Beck and Evan Russell, who, became a household name in the college baseball sphere over the last, 2 months of the season last year.
Mhm.
What's that been like for you, just surrounded by that much talent? Do you guys feed off each other?
Yeah, 100%. I came in, my freshman year, and it was like you said, Evan Russell, Jordan Beck, Alex Solari, Zach Daniels went in the 4th round to the Astros in 2020. Those are, 4 guys where, I can learn so much from. And, being able to come in right away as a freshman, and it's like, you understand like the level you need to get at, or like where you need to be right away. It's great to learn from them. I still learn from them, almost every single day. Even over a break, me and Beck talked for like 20 minutes yesterday on the phone. So, I've been able to learn a ton from them, and, hopefully they'd say the same thing. We kind of feed off each other. So it's been good.
Well, even doubling down a little bit on that aspect, your energy is pretty much unmatched on the field, and you're getting that same energy pretty much matched from your manager with Coach Patello. So just talking about how that relationship is with you guys, because it's pretty much a match made in heaven when you're looking at both of you on the field.
Yeah, he's everything I would ever ask for in a coach. He's just how he was when he recruited me. And I love how intense he is. I love how competitive he is. He knows how to push, each individual. He knows how to lead a team, especially for being a young coach. He's a great recruiter. I don't really have anything negative to say about him. I think everything he does is, pretty good. So it's been everything, he's been everything I could have hoped for in a coach.
When we had Jordan Beck and we had Blade Tidwell on over these last couple of weeks, they said that you are by far, not even close, the most competitive player that they've ever been around. I want to say one of them off air said you're like a sociopath in the dugout or something. Just You have to win, screaming in the dugout, just trying to get everyone's competitive juices going. Where do you think that comes from? Is that something you've always had, or?
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably from my parents. My mom and dad are both super competitive. That's just kind of how I've been my whole life. I like really hate losing. Like I don't see why you'd ever be okay with that. And I'll literally do anything to win. I don't know exactly why it's so like intense at times, because like off the field it's just not who I am. But like once I get on the field, like it's like do or die for me. So I don't know what it is, but it's like kind of a light switch.
I love it.
Oh yeah.
Well, you faced SEC pitching all last year. All throughout the season last year. But I want to go back a little bit before that, talking about your Stillwater days and talking about your matchups with Max Meyer from high school. That's the type of pitcher you really don't see probably in Minnesota Minnesota high school rankings pretty often with that kind of stuff. So just talk to me a little bit how that was facing somebody like that growing up.
Yeah, that's the best pitcher I'll ever face in my life. Even when he was 88, 91 in high school, that is the best pitch, that slider, I've ever seen in my life to this day. It is unbelievable. I thought he should have gone 1-1 in that 2020 draft. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer someday. He is unbelievable. I don't know how to describe it. It's unbelievable.
How does it make you feel that, you were just talking about even when he was 88 to 91, well, now his slider is 88 to 91.
I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to face him just to see what it's like now. But like I remember, because I was a sophomore, so it's my first year on like varsity baseball. It's like my third game, and Max Meyer's pitching, he throws that slider. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what is this? He's committed to the University of Minnesota, and I'm like, I mean, I've never even heard of this kid. Like, and I don't know. Ever since then, I'm like, this guy will pitch or be a Hall of Famer. So I'll put money on that, actually.
How's this kid not committed to the New York Yankees?
Yeah, that's what I was, honestly.
Absolutely. Well, going back to those high school days, you were a 35th or 36th round pick from, was it the Twins, I want to say? Yeah, the local team. What was that process like for you, kind of weighing whether or not you wanted to stay home and play for the Twins or go play for the University of Tennessee?
Yeah, I mean, at that point where they'd picked me, it was kind of, like a courtesy pick. It wasn't really at that point I knew I was going to school. It was kind of just like your hometown team picking you, which was really cool. I mean, your hometown team, I've grown up loving the Twins, and it was awesome. But at that point I knew I was going to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, talking about the next steps a little bit here, you're heading into July in the 22 draft, and you're looking, your name is all over boards. What is one thing you're looking for from a pro team that you would really like to see in your future employer? Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I've kind of, I don't want to say trick my mind, but I'm kind of like the mindset of, obviously, everyone wants to get drafted and everyone wants to go, in the first round, but I kind of understand that like that's so far away, right? And like if I'm worried about that type of stuff now, like it's not going to go well, right? Because I mean, I got so much to worry about today and tomorrow. Why would I be worried about the draft? And if I would say there's one thing, I mean, that I'm looking for in a pro team, they better be all in on winning the World Series, because that would be the only reason I would want to go to a team if they're trying to do that.
Love that mindset. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the next 7 months, because Tennessee's got a huge 2022 in front of them. You guys are stacked. You were stacked last year. It looks like you're going to be an even better team this year, at least on paper. What sort of things are you personally looking to – where are you looking to grow over this winter to bring the best product to the field?
Yeah, I think a lot of it just kind of comes back to, what I was talking about earlier, even just offensively. It's kind of like staying through the middle. I know it sounds so simple, but like for me, I think that's so big for me, because I think that would help. I think that could change just kind of the hitter I am. And sometimes, I've, not even intentionally, but I, try to get a little too big and, trying to be a power hitter even when I'm, not a power hitter. Because anytime I try to be a power hitter, I just turn into a nothing hitter. And I think just, trying to be a good hitter would, probably help produce more power than trying to be a power hitter. So a lot of it's just like mindset and approach. And I think we have some young guys that came in this year, some young freshmen, and, just trying to get them, mindset wise ready to play and try to help them out as much as I possibly can. I think that's pretty big for me, and I think that'll help a lot this year.
On the other side of that, really quick, I'd say, Drew, you're a unique player. You're not the biggest guy in the world, but you've got immense bat speed. You're really twitchy. Is there a player that you've kind of compared yourself to, or you've been compared to in the big leagues, that is just kind of a firecracker in the lineup?
I don't know if there's necessarily someone like I watch and like try to emulate or any of that, but like I guess one guy I've watched even just since he was in college, probably Andrew Benintendi. I've been watching him since he was at Arkansas, and maybe that's just because like the size and left-handed swing and all that, and center field. But that's a guy I've looked at for a while. That's
a great. Benintendi is probably one of my top 3 favorite college players to ever watch. I loved watching Benintendi at Arkansas.
Yeah.
One last question I mentioned on pitching, and I thought we talked about Max Meyer, but I mentioned SEC pitching. But was there a pitcher last year that you saw there was so much SEC talent last year that was just maybe a little bit better than every other guy you saw last year?
Yeah, when we faced Kumar Rocker, I think Beck said the same answer, but he was unbelievable, like unhittable. His stuff was crazy.
When
it was
it's
like
on, it's on, man.
Like 90, 92 mile an hour cutter, and then that breaking ball was like you just couldn't pick it up. Unbelievable.
Is it just the most deceptive slider you've seen?
I can't even explain it, because like I had watched him, for 2 years on TV, and I remember like watching the no-hitter against Duke, and everyone's swinging at that slider in the court, and I'm like, why are guys like continually chasing this pitch? Like at this point, like through 8 innings, I figured you'd make an adjustment and recognize he's going to try to bury the slider. But he got me 0-2, and he threw it in the dirt. and you just don't pick it up. I don't know what it is. You just don't pick it up. I don't know why. It's good though.
Well, it sounds like he won't be back. So
Yeah,
you got that going for you, man.
Thank you on that one.
All right. Well, let's hit you with a couple of wild card questions here before we let you go. Always like to end on these. Start with one that I've asked Beck and asked Tidwell. Tennessee Volunteers. Who's got the worst drip on the team?
Ooh, I hope he's watching this right now. So
One's a freshman named Kavaris Tears.
Kavaris has a pretty bad sense of style.
I'm gonna go Kavaris Tears. I think I'm the third guy to say that, but it's a pretty obvious choice. He'll never admit it, but he knows it's true.
Your boy's gonna transfer out of the school before he plays.
He knows he likes the tough love, but he won't admit that either.
On the Evan Russell front, has he ever encouraged you to stare into the sun?
I don't know if he's encouraged me, but the amount of time he's done it in front of me, and I have to bust you back to back times. I don't know if I've done that. I don't know how many times I've done that, but
that's the funniest ragging on one guy I've ever heard, man.
It is funny.
All right, one more baseball question, and I'll throw you an SEC question. You've seen them all now. What SEC school? What fans need to bring it?
What fans need to bring it?
Mm-hmm.
Like this upcoming season?
Yeah, what fans are not bringing enough noise?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like I'm putting myself in front of like an arm, like a firing squad right now.
Better pick a school with not very many fans.
Yeah, let's go Missouri.
Missouri. All right.
Missouri. I'm okay with that.
Good answer. I've got some good friends at Missouri now. I'll make sure that they give you some their best stuff.
That's okay. They're coming to us.
Their best stuff.
There you go. All right. Last question. You know what's coming. What's the most random fact you know about anything on Earth that not a lot of people know?
The most random fact I know. Oh man. Shoot.
Always off guard.
Yeah, you got me off guard. I gotta think about this. A random fact that I know about the Earth. Well, I guess this is about an animal. Pigs do not sweat.
Oh my God. You're killing
Pigs
me.
don't sweat.
Bro, you are Googling the exact same shit that Reese Highfield did.
No. See, that's just disappointing because I finally scrolled upon one and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll roll with that.
Y'all are Googling the same thing. Who knew pigs were so interesting?
Right. So a random fact that I know. For 20 years, a cat served as a mayor of an Alaskan town.
All right,
like
that's
it.
interesting.
That's
What
a win,
town? What god-awful town?
Let's see. Tall teeth. I don't know. I can't even pronounce it.
You're good, man. Thank you. We won't keep you any longer. Thank you so much for joining the show, man. I think, I'll speak for myself. I'm really excited to see what you do this year because I think you've got some athleticism in the outfield that not a lot of people do. So I'm expecting big things from you and Tennessee. So happy holidays, man, and go get them this year.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys having me. It was fun.
Appreciate it,
All
Drew.
right,
Thanks a lot, man.
All right, guys.